Hello, friends. This is Scott. And every time I go to IFA, I get a little bit ahead of myself. And I hadn't planned on making a run down to the new hobby farm with the last of the gates, but I found the gate that I wanted. It's a 12 footer. I was thinking 14 feet, but decided to go with the 12 footer. Hopefully, that'll be wide enough for the main entry gate into the backyard area, which is right here. So I had posted or placed this post a couple weeks ago. And it's got a cemented in metal post I just left. So I'm going to brace that up and use the metal post for a little support. And here's a look at the next project, because I got to get a dumpster in here and get rid of all this crap. So that's what I originally was going to do. But I decided I was going to hang the gate. I might be making a mistake. I hope the dumpster will fit between in a 12-foot gate. But we'll see. If not, I'll just pull the other post out that I ended up doing today. They're not cemented in. The wood ones are just down 3 feet and packed with dirt and water and allowed to harden. There's where I braced up the pole a little bit. I can always twist these wires if I need to make it tighter, but I don't know if the gate it's not that heavy, so I don't know if it's going to put that much strain on this post, but we'll see. Now here, I'm going to show you what you don't do with these types of gates. There's two of these little screw-in hooks that you put in. You put the lower one facing up, and then on the upper one, you do not place it like this, because what'll happen is you want it like that, because that way people can't just lift your gate off. So how do you manage to get the gate on if you put both facing the opposite directions? Well, there's a simple little adjustment here, and there's on the little brackets attached to the gate, there's just simply a crescent wrench will do this bolt. You can slide that mechanism up and down so that you can just put it in until it's snug, tighten it up, and you're good to go. Now, levelness is always an issue with these gates. And with my other two gates, I'm starting to get a little bit better at doing these, but I wasn't sure how this one was going to go, because there's a little bit of a slope. There's some ruts in the road, and I wasn't sure how this, I know the post is plumb, but I didn't know how the gate's going to swing on this uneven dirt here. So here's as hard or as simple as a gate is to install. You just place the bottom one in, and then you slide the bracket that I loosened up. And I noticed the first thing is I need to raise the other end. So I had a couple pieces of broken concrete and a piece of board. So I originally put it up with just the concrete, and I'm still need to go a little higher, as I see here as I'm going through this, and I'm realizing, I need to go up a little bit. So found a little piece of junk in the pile of garbage that I need to get rid of. So stuck that under there too, just to get it so it's easy enough to put the brace back on, or the little bracket into the top of the metal screw ends. Then I just slide the bracket up that I loosened up onto that little pin and reach down, and I got to get my crescent wrench. I thought I had it around, but it's on the ground, so I had to grab that and just tighten that bolt up. And I'm not going to tighten it up all the way tight. I just want to get it so it's going to hold. And then I can test the level. I got to get my level out of my truck and just see if I'm plumb with the gate too. But I do have the board and the pieces of concrete underneath. So when I first measured this, I set the level on top, and I'm just barely off. And I'm thinking to myself, and I'm staring, and I'm thinking, and I'm staring, and I'm spending way too much time thinking and staring. But thought, it's close enough, not a big deal. Not realizing that the weight of the gate is still being supported by the little brace I put on the other side with the concrete and the board. So I'm sitting here thinking, well, it's almost there, but it's not quite there. Is it close enough? Is it not close enough? Well, I decided, it's good enough. Well, I decided, let's just tighten her up and see how this gate opens. I don't know, again, the lay of the land. It seems like it's higher toward the truck side, but I don't know if this gate will open, out or open in, or I'm hoping it does one or the other, because that's kind of important. Well, it didn't open out because the ground's a little too high, but guess what? It swung perfect, and it fits really nicely there. So I'm going to be filling in these ruts and making it so that no animals or dogs can get out underneath the gate, but I'll do more of that piling up on the outside of the gate, not the inside. I'll do a little bit, just make sure I get the ruts down, or filled in, but looking good. And actually, when I didn't show it here, but I grabbed the level again, and it's perfectly level. So Once I took those little supports out on the side that I'd used temporarily, that's what made it perfectly level. So I got lucky on this one. So usually you have to do more adjustments on the gates. You screw in the top to raise it up, or you unscrew the top to lower it if you need to. But I ran a string and made sure everything is as plumb and straight as possible. And then I'm looking to see, I had originally started digging a hole at 14 feet because that's what I thought I was going to do the gate. And then so I started a hole last time and I wasted my time there. But looks like here's where I'm going to put the post. Now what I didn't realize is there had been a metal post here. And it's underneath this. I just poured water in here to loosen it up. But there's a metal post and concrete right down in there. So I don't know if I have enough room to put a wooden post in here or not. But I went ahead and did it. And I had a little bit of room, and just barely. I mean, you can't get much closer than that. So it worked out perfect. I thought I was going to have to dig that concrete out, and that would have taken me all day, and it was hot. So I'm thankful I didn't have to do that. But I'm hoping that the dumpster is not, it's less than 12 feet wide, or I've got to take that post out when I get it in. But it turned out pretty good. And I'll put some other fencing in here just to make sure the animals can't climb out around the sides. But I got a stretch fence. And that'll be the project after I get rid of all the garbage. But it turned out really good, and so I'm really pleased with how it was. And here's another close-up of how close I was to barely getting that post to fit, because it barely fit in there. So I was lucky. The other post must have been 12 and a half feet or something that they'd put in, and they just gave me just enough room to make this work. I didn't want the post to rest up against the gate. It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but I'm glad it's set up like this. So here's a look at all of my gates. This was the first one I did, and I wasn't real smart with this one. I still have to get one of the little clasps that, the little openers and closers that a normal gate has. The one I got didn't work. It was the wrong size, so I've got to go to Home Depot and get another one. A little gate latch, I should call it. Here's the gate I just put up, and again, it looks pretty good for an amateur. Again, this isn't necessarily a how-to video, it's a how-I video, because I can, I do it well enough to be dangerous, but I'm not necessarily the best at anything, but I get her done with a little bit of practice. And then here's the other 8-foot gate that goes into the pasture. So they all turned out good. And this one I put the post in tight too. And so it looks like I kind of know what I'm doing. I got lucky, I think. So I've just got a stretch fence, and I've got to put a couple sections here. And then I've got to stretch from there all the way around the side of the yard to the front, and then up to the house where the little gate is. Here's the big pile of dirt that I need to start moving and getting rid of all that dirt. But here's the next project. So I'm hoping that dumpster will fit in here. I'm gonna get a medium-sized dumpster from the city and get it for a couple weeks, and I'm just gonna throw as much of this in there as I can. It's a lot of the old chicken coop you had, miscellaneous odds and ends, and then there's a whole bunch of sticks. There was a big old willow tree in the front yard that they cut down a year ago, and they just piled a lot of the brush back here. So I would like to use the brush and burn it if I can, but I don't want to burn anything in this time of the year. It's just way too dry. But here I am, just pulling a hose also this trip, just watering the pasture. I need to get some kind of animals on here to start getting some fertility going and getting them to graze. But there's something kind of mesmerizing about watching sprinklers going. I love the sound of the sprinklers as they go. So I try to soak it in pretty well, as I'm only watering approximately once a week right now, and it's not nearly enough. But they say you want it to survive, not thrive, and so that's kind of where I'm at the moment. But here's a look at the pasture, and here's a look at the skies. It was beautiful. It was a little hot, but it wasn't terrible. There was a little bit of cloud cover, and there was a little bit of orange from the fires, and the sunsets are really pretty. Well, that's all I accomplished this trip. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.